Welcome along, everybody. We are here. We were going to be here, but we're not now. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Get the we will get the sorting and everything sorted, and fingers crossed, we're ready to go now. Good stuff. Welcome along then to the stream then. Welcome to bronze then for the 11th round of the season. And we are going to get ourselves out on track then to start off in a very overcast Zandvoort here tonight then, here in the Netherlands then. So get ourselves underway then. Qualifying is underway. And good stuff. We can get some audio as well then. Fantastic. All right then, yes. Welcome along then to Bronze Season 9, Round 11 then. We've only got 5 rounds to go up to this session. It's fantastic. It's been speeding through this season, which is great. Ginger Age is also in the session as well, which is great stuff indeed. So there we are then. Good stuff. And we've got Evening All from Ginger as well then. Good luck as well then. And good luck from Styles in the Haas as well. Right then. Where are we on the circuit then? We've only just got ourselves started in qualifying then, as Liam then will be taking us through the action then for the first hot lap then of the session tonight then. So far so good for Liam as he goes round the banked final corner then to start off the lap then, heading into the Tarzan corner then of turn 1 then. We'll run through the championship order very quickly as well then as we get ourselves through qualifying, but we'll start off then with the driver standings, and that is Luke leading the way then, 180 points then for Luke, but unfortunately he's stuck at work tonight, so he's not going to be racing here in Zandvoort. Dan then could close the gap then in the Alpine. He's 153 points then at the moment then in P2. Then he is, what is that, 27 points behind then, so a win would not convert him into the championship leader then for Dan, unfortunately. Then Dynamo Dan then is on 109 points then in P3 for the Red Bull team. And unfortunately, Real Ashton, his Red Bull teammate, has retired in the pit lane, and so he is done and dusted, unfortunately, for qualifying for Real Ashton. Then Ginner, then P4, then in the McLaren, then Sirius Mushroom, then right in the battle, then with that one as well. Then actually, well, everyone will queue it up behind Dynamo Dan then for that final podium place. Then in the driver's standings as it stands as well. Then with Mushroom down on 102 points and only 7 points behind the podium places there. We've then got Corey Brennan, then Styles, Mr. Elite, then Smithy and Winnie making up the top 10 in the driver's standings. Then we'll go over to constructors quickly then as Kick Sauber leads away 264 points for the Green Machine. Haas then doing a fantastic job, then Mr. Elite and Styles then as we've got some times tumbling in. Then Ginner then sets a 1 minute 5 rather than a 9 minute 5. So good stuff indeed, much quicker. And then we've got Haas then in P2, then Aston Martin of Mushroom and Winnie then P3 in the constructors standings. And again, Aston Martin could try and track down that P2 position in the constructors tonight here as well. Then the positions could switch in their favour. Alpine in P4, then McLaren P5, Williams in P6, Red Bull then in P7, then Racing Bulls then Ginger Age and Slayer then in P8, then Ferrari and Mercedes then making up the last couple of places then, but not out of it just yet then, of course, as we get ourselves back in the action. Rocket Lee then on the medium compound tyres then done 10.2, as does Corey Brennan then at 10.7 for the Williams driver on the medium compound. Will they be well, I don't think they'll be looking to use those compound tyres, those compound tyres then in the session, it seems then, because they don't want to worry about them in qualifying. Then Formula Moment says good luck everyone. Then Evening ELO says Mushroom as well, and my ELO is out tonight then, so yes, there we go then. That will be giving Mushroom a tingle somewhere or other. Dynamo Dan then has done 20.8 then. I'm not quite sure that's representative of his normal pace, but of course he is currently P3 in the driver's standings then, so usually we would expect a bit faster than Dynamo Dan. We'll have to wait and see what he's going to be doing then on his next attempt then. Here we go then for Dukanko, who is, I think, starting off. He has finished a lap at 14.0, but maybe doing 2 laps here to try and get his eye in and get those tyres warmed up then in this qualifying session. And Winnie is he coming out the pit lane, or is that Mushroom coming out the pit lane? I'm not quite sure. We can't tell as it's just not updating. The Mushroom is coming out the pit lane there. Jake the Slayer going through the banked corner of sector what? I'm not quite sure. We've got Mr. Elite then heading into the final corner, has been validated on the final turn as well. Then my goodness me, he's all over the place then, coming through that final corner as well then, and coming back into the pit lane for the Haas driver as well. Then that is him done and dusted in qualifying, or not done and dusted in qualifying, done and dusted for that lap in qualifying, I should say, as Slayer then coming through sector 2. Then let's see what Slayer can do then on his first qualifying attempt. Then hot lap engage as we go through. He's drifting that car through the corner. Then unfortunately that's going to be losing him a bit of time there, a few tenths or two. But now onto the mini DRS straight, which isn't very effective because it's not long enough to actually make an overtake really, unless the other car in front of you is definitely struggling. Then as Slayer then I think is having a few issues with him going through the corners. It looks like maybe he's backed off then on this lap then, but yeah, so Slayer then just getting his eye in then in qualifying tonight. Then we've got a couple of debutants as well then. I think we've got one debutant actually. Ballant then is in the Mercedes, then he's not a debutant, but he's Ballant is taken to the Mercedes seat then for tonight then in the Mercedes. His teammate is Jamie as well then, so both Mercedes missing tonight then, unfortunately. But Jamie then looking to try and get himself some good results then for a full-time seat potentially as well. Then, of course, ASR then joined us full-time last week in Belgium, and now looking to try and get that Ferrari then further up the order then in this race as well. Then Mushroom then is on track. Actually, he's gone through into Sector 1 then. So far, so good for Mushroom then. Let's see what he does then on his first flying lap. Then we'll come back to that then. Where has we were watching Jet the Slayer, weren't we? He's done a 10.6. I've missed him completely. Sorry about that, Slayer. But he's got himself up into P5 then with a 10.6. So very good stuff indeed so far. Looking very strong here in Zandvoort tonight then. So far so good then. Well, as we go through for Dynamo Dan, and this time on a flying lap, proper flying lap I should say. 12.5 is his time. Then can he beat that? He can do with the 10.3. Puts himself P5, but it's Jamie who is, well, it is Jamie who has taken P2 then, splitting the McLaren pair. Astronaut does a good job then as well. Then he's jumped up to P3 then, but Jamie then splitting the McLaren pair then onto the front row of the grid then on his debut appearance in bronze. Very good stuff indeed. Hi Kiki, says, oh hi Alex, says Kiki, but I said hi Kiki. Because that's, yes. Anyway, there we go. Good stuff indeed. The Kanko struggling through the final corner then. I think he's run out of fuel then, as we've had Mushroom jump up to P7 then with a 10.4 in the Aston Martin and on his first qualifying lap here tonight. Ginger Rage unfortunately has invalidated somewhere along the circuit then, so we'll be looking to go again then on, I think this is on his next flying lap attempt as we head towards the start-finish line then. 10 minutes left of qualifying there. We've got plenty of time indeed, and of course a very quick lap indeed as well then, which is why we've got 36 laps of action to unfold here after the qualifying session indeed. Mr. Elite starting off a lap as well then as we go through then into the next bit of qualifying then. Evening Alex said hello all racers and good luck to Bronze, says Kamara Racer then. Thank you very much Kamara Racer then. Let's go Dan says Eben as well then in the comment section, and let's see how Dan's going to fare. He's coming out the pit lane now to start his first out lap, his first quali lap of the session as well. Come on Jake then, says Rapid then, and hit the wall. Final corner and survived, says Slayer as well. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but nonetheless, that's yes, Slayer's having a few escapades out there on his first qualifying run. Hopefully he can get it all together then and get himself a few more tenths in this next, or the next couple of laps or so. There's still plenty of time to get himself back out on track as well. Then here comes Mr. Elite then heading into Sector 2 then, and DRS activated then for the Haas driver as we head towards the next chicane. Purple in Sector 2 as well, and that's looking promising stuff indeed then for the Haas team, that is. As we head into Sector 3 then. My goodness me, that car is all over the place coming out of the chicane there. Unfortunately for Mr. Reed, that is not the best route out of that chicane, but nonetheless then heading through the final corner then. Let's see what Mr. Elite can do then up to the line. He's used a lot of battery then up to the line. It's a 10.0, puts himself P3 here in Zandvoort then. Fantastic stuff indeed. And yo bud, says Formula Moments. There we go. And that's your summary then of qualifying. Summary of the comment section. Right then, Ginger Age is on track then, so we'll skip that because we don't want to see that. We go to Corey Brennan then, who is flying along then in the Williams, then up into P5 with a 10.2 as well. Then fantastic stuff indeed, then puts himself on the third row of the grid. Well done indeed then to Corey Brennan then, good stuff. Rocket Lee then is reserving in place of Vintage. Unfortunately, Vintage again working tonight as well then, so Vintage has stepped out then for a week hopefully, and Rocket Lee then has jumped back in then to see what he can do then, this time in the Alpine Machine, and currently P6 then, so he's not doing too badly then in the Alpine Machine, but he's gone purple in Sector 1 then, and that is looking very promising stuff indeed. Where will we see? We'll see Ginger Rage. Let's have a look and see what he's up to. He's not doing anything then, so fortunately for Ginger Rage, he's abandoned his lap then, so well, we might have commentator cursed him there, so I'm sorry. Right then, Rocket Lee then. Where is Rocket Lee then? He's heading into Sector 3 now. He's 8 tenths up on his previous time then. That would put him in the range with Ginner's time and then potentially in pole position here in Zandvoort. Then we'll have to find out then. Let's see what we can do then through the last couple of corners then around that final bank corner or turn, and heading up to the line then for Rocket Lee then in the Alpine then from P6. Where does he go then as Dan jumped on the up, but Rocket Lee's on pole position by 0.02 of a second, and very good stuff indeed then for Rocket Lee. Then Dan as well jumping up to P3. Both the Alpines on fire then on that lap, and now looking very good indeed in terms of their positioning on the grid then for the start of the Grand Prix. Of course, 7 minutes still in the session to go, so there's still time for other drivers to improve and other drivers to try and knock them off those top spots. As here comes Smithy then from P9, then he goes P9, and unfortunately doesn't improve then in that second attempt then, unfortunately then for Smithy. Then Sam then on his second full-time race has got himself into the top 10 and looking pretty good indeed. Then Dynamo down back in the pit lane, Jake the Slayer going through the first sector. Then where is Liam? Liam also following through this first sector as well then, so we'll see who is going to be next across the line. Then it might be Styles then. Styles coming up to finish off the lap. And now into the last couple of corners of turn 13, 14 and 15 as well then. Flying along then to the line then for Styles then. Let's see what it's going to be then for the Haas driver then. Can he improve on P8? Yes he can. He's up into P4 then with a 9.8 then, and he improves onto the second row of the grid then. Fantastic from Styles. Well done indeed then. Great lap then from Styles as well. Then Astrodron back out on track as well then. Unfortunately not improving then in the second sector. It doesn't, like, unfortunately for the McLaren then. He's done a good job then in the first opening stage of the qualifying. San then heading up to the line then in his Ferrari then. Let's see what San can do then as we rounds the final corner then. Up to the line then. He's going back into the pit lane, so never mind, ignore me. He has already duped me in this session. Astrodron then coming back into the pits as well. Then we've got a, where have we got? We've got a Slayer. We've got a Slayer then who jumps ahead of his teammate then of Ginger Age and the Slayer. Then he's up into P13, then improves by a tenth of a minute or so to get himself up that position then, but unfortunately then stays P13, or stays down the order for the time being, that is, because of course there's still time in the qualifying session for them all to improve, as Ginner has improved then to a 9.256, but I don't think I could even meet myself, to be fair. But Ginner then back on pole position, taking it away from the Alpine pair then, and rocket down to P2, but still on the front row of the grid then as it stands. Dan is back out on circuit as well then. Hungry Styles then is crawling back to the pit lane, I think then. He seems to run out of fuel then, so he needs to make sure it doesn't get in the way of his teammate, who's starting off a lap very shortly as well then, maybe trying to give him a very distant, well not very distant, he's going to be very close indeed then. What is Styles doing here then? That's ridiculous then from Styles, almost. As close indeed, he's going to be parked on the corner. But yes, nonetheless then he's escaped the clutches of his teammate. Dan then up to the line then. Can Dan improve more then? Yeah, he does improve, but he stays P3. He's done only 46 pounds of a second only, but it's still an improvement nonetheless then. But he improves that position and improves that, cemented his position, I should say, in P3 for the time being. Then Jamie is improving as well then in sector 2. Then let's see what Jamie can do then in the Mercedes tonight. Then he is looking pretty quick out there then in this in his full-time, well, not full-time debut, in his first debut, I should say, in ALR in total, that is, heading through the final corner now. And let's see what Jamie can do then up to the line. Then it's going to be close. It's a 9.6, puts himself P4 then ahead of the Haas pair then as we go through into Tarzan corner. But Jamie then improves to the second row of the grid then. Fantastic stuff indeed. Mr. Elite's had an issue then, and that's a yellow flag then for the Haas there as we go through. Then I think that was Dan coming back through on his lap. Then Gino has retired in the pit lane, so Gino is happy with his qualifying. He's not going to be able to improve on that time now. And can the Alpines, can Jamie, can the Haas pair, can his teammate of Astrodron then, Corey Brennan, Smithy or ASR or Dynamo Dan, try and knock him off their perch as well? Then Mushroom was also included in that as well, and as everybody else, to be fair. But here comes Dynamo Dan. Then, of course, P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Then, as it stands, heading into this race, then let's see what he can do then in his second attempt at qualifying. There's 4 minutes left of qualifying here tonight. And up to the line then comes Dynamo Dan. Then let's see what it's going to be then for the Red Bull machine. It's a 10.2, puts himself P7 then ahead of Astrodron. Very good stuff indeed. And there we are. So that's that. Right then, Corey back out on track as well. Then where is, I think a few other drivers then starting off an outlap then as well. Ballot then is down in P18, not set a time just yet then, but he's out on track now. No, he's not. Where is that? It's Jamie then. It's Jamie coming through the final corner then, but Jamie's coming back into the pit lane here, isn't he? So that's him done and dusted for that qualifying attempt. There's still time for Jamie to get himself back out on track for another final run then, as ASR then starting off a final run as well here. As is Smithy Almighty then heading into Tarzan corner. Very good stuff indeed. Mushroom then on an outlet then starting off another attempt then. I think there's only a few, well, there's still time to do 2 more runs, but if you've got enough fuel on board then and enough ALRs to play with, then potentially you can get yourself, without going back into the pit, then you can do back-to-back runs here. But we'll have to wait and see then what the drivers are going to be doing then in the last few knockings of the session here as well then. So far so good then in qualifying. It's been action-packed already, which is very good stuff to see. But there we are then as we head into the last few minutes then of qualifying now then to set the grid then for the Dutch Grand Prix. Then we've got Rocket Lee then starting off a lap very shortly as well here as he heads towards the line. No, he's coming back in the pit lane, is Rocket Lee, so well, it's going to be quite close then for Rocket Lee then potentially to get himself back out on track. Then we'll find out in the next minute or two. We've got Astrodron starting off a lap as well then for the McLaren. Then can he improve on P8? Then can he get himself up in the order with his teammate as well then, because the McLaren were pretty good indeed then. They were in a good fight last week in Belgium. Belgium. We go through then for San, then San finishing off the lap. Then let's see what it's going to be then for the Ferrari. It's P6 then for San, then into the 9.9s. Very good stuff indeed for San on his second appearance in a full-time capacity, that is. Smithy Almighty then was not able to improve. I think he's going to go for another attempt here. So he did back out of the previous lap then, did Smithy, and now trying again then on his final run then here in qualifying, I think then. Where are we then? Mushroom heading into the final corner as well. Then Mushroom looking to improve on P12. Then where is it going to be then for the Aston Martin? It's a 10.0. Puts himself P7 then instead of P12 then, which is a good improvement indeed. Then well done then for Mushroom. Then as we go through, we've got a Williams then, I think Liam then starting off an out lap then, or starting off a flying lap, I should say. Where is the Haas then? The Haas of Styles. Styles improves. No, he doesn't improve, but he's going again then is Styles as well then. So there's a few drivers out there who are having a few issues. Then Dynamo Dan back up into P7 then with the 10.0 as well. I think that might be Dynamo Dan's qualifying finish here in this session as well. There's a few drivers then filtering out of the pit lane now as well. All sorts of action. Then as Astrodron starts off, no, he doesn't. He finished at that then, I think. But he doesn't improve his position, unfortunately, then in that situation. Then, unfortunately for Astrodron, then he's now been demoted down by Jake the Slayer, who's improved to a 10.1, then puts himself P10, then does Jake the Slayer. Where is Smithy then? Smithy up to the line, then Smithy is going again, once again, then it looks like for Smithy. So he's having all sorts of problems out there as well. Then Ballant has retired on the track, I think, there. Oh, no, has he? No, yes, he has. He's had some sort of issue on track, then has Ballant, then he's out. He's left the session as well, then, goodness me. Oh, dear. Well, that's that then for Ballant, but he's had some sort of problems then as well. Then Jamie then is the other Mercedes then out on track. Then where is Sirius Mushroom? He's back in the pit lane now and calling it a day. That's his qualifying done and dusted. P8 then going to be at best then for Sirius Mushroom. Where is Liam then? Liam heading up to the line then for the final attempt. Then Liam improves from P16 to P15 then with a 10.4, and very good stuff indeed from Liam then soldiering on that there as well then. And let's see what he can do then in the race itself. Then Ginger Rage then is cruising back to the pits as well. No, he's not cruising back to the pits. He's improving then by 0.2 of a second then, I should say, which will put him back ahead then potentially of Liam and DeCanco as it stands. As we go through the rest of the order then, as we go through the finish off the qualifying session, I should say. And then Dan starting off a lap. Then Astra John has started off another lap as well, it looks like, then for the McLaren. Then good stuff indeed. Mr. Elite crossing line to start off another lap then. Slayer also starting, no, it's Ginger Rage, has started off a lap of that, but he's not improved unfortunately on his previous time. Well, he has improved, sorry, but he's not improved his position, I should say, then on his previous time. Then Smithy jumps up to P8 now for the time being. Very good stuff indeed. I messed up my third run. It was 2 tenths up, says Styles then. So Styles then P5 then in the qualifying session. Then San is also finished then P6 then. So far so good then for San on the third row of the grid. Then Smithy Almighty then is on a flying lap, is he? He seems to be having a few issues out there, I think, with fuel. So the fuel has gone then for Smithy, unfortunately. Then where are the Williams pair then? We've got Corey. Is it Corey? Where is Corey? No, it's Liam. Then Liam come back into the pit lane then. And now we've got an Alpine, then an Alpine of Rocket Lee heading also into the pits as well. Then unfortunately not improving on his next time. Then here comes Jamie. Jamie's looking to improve on his position as well. Then let's see what Jamie can do. Then he stays P4 for the time being. That is, Rocket Lee retires in the pit lane. Then the Aston Martin of Winnie then stays P14. Corey jumps up to P12. Rocket Lee, no, it's Dan is up into P2, then onto the front row of the grid, then displacing his teammate Rocket Lee tonight then. And Dan now on the front row. And of course, the championship challenger then is Dan and looking to try and get some big points here tonight. Then we'll see what he can do then in this next race session, of course, as we head up to the line then for Mr. Elite. He's finished the qualifying session, unfortunately. Then back in the pit lane, here comes Slayer up into P9, then improves by almost a tenth of a second then to get himself into the top 10, or into the top 9, I should say. Then it's very close there in the midfield, isn't it, there as well? Then good stuff indeed. I think that's qualifying done and dusted, to be honest, as Ginger Rage is retired then in the pits as well. So there we go then. Yes, so Smithy then is cruising back to the pit lane. Then unfortunately has run out of fuel for the time being. So oh dear, that's a bit of a corner cut then, Smithy. Yes, once we get him back in the pit lane, we'll be able to get himself. We'll be able to get ourselves underway for the Grand Prix itself. Then 36 laps of racing action to come. Then as we've now set the grid then for the Dutch Grand Prix. Very good stuff indeed, and we'll have a look through the full classification in just a jiffy then. But then pole position then for McLaren, looking very strong then in the top of the order then for the McLaren team. Then we've also got Dan and Rocket Lee in the Alpines. Are they going to be a bit of a problem then for Gino then? Will they work together to try and displace Gino from that top spot then at the start of the race then? Or what we're going to see for the strategies as well then? Could there be all sorts of strategies here as well here in Zandvoort we will find out how it's going to unfold in just a jiffy then. But of course, firstly, we'll run through the classification of qualifying then, but then we will have a quick word from our lovely sponsors and get ourselves into the action then with the formation lap then of the Dutch Grand Prix. But there we are then, a fantastic qualifying indeed. What a shootout that was indeed, especially for the middle of the pack as well then, because it was all sorts of actions, very close down there as well then, as Jinner then takes pole position, Dan in P2, Rocket Lee in P3, Jamie then on his debut then for ALR, P4 then Styles in P5, San in P6, Dynamo Dan P7, Smithy in P8, then Jake the Slayer P9, Mushroom in P10, Mr. Elite then P11, Corey in P12, Astra John P13, Winnie P14, Dukanko in the Ferrari then P15, Liam P16, Ginger Age P17, unfortunately for Ballot and Real Ashton, they didn't get a time on the board in qualifying. Right then, we are almost ready. Hopefully the drivers are almost ready, but we're just waiting for them to sort out their strategies, sort out their cups of tea and everything like that before we get ourselves underway. Good luck all of them from Slayer as well then. Hope it's working now, says Ballot as well then. I think he got himself back in the session in time. So good stuff indeed. If you're not back in the session in time, then of course you will not be able to do the formation lap, but it should put you back in for the start of the race then, as formation lap is now underway. And we can crack on now with the telemetries and whatnot as well. What we're going to see in terms of the strategies, though, we've got a combination of strategies all over the field, I should say. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers on the soft compound tyres. We've got 7 drivers on the, 8 drivers on the medium compound tyres and 2 on the hard compound tyres. So that's very good stuff indeed. As we got ourselves started then, Dan opting for the soft compound tyres to start off with. So he's going to be very quick off the line. Jinner's had a bit of a problem then. Trying to get himself around the track on a formation lap then, so that's not promising then for Jinner in this Grand Prix, I should say, but there we go. So there we are then, Dan in P2 on the soft compound tyres, as is Jamie and Styles and San then in the top 6 then, so that's going to be quite impressive then, interesting I should say indeed, for those on the soft compound tyres at the start of the race then. Can they make their way through quickly enough then to then maximise the pace on those soft compounds then to start off the race? Smithy also on the softs, as is Mushroom as well then, Liam in P16 and Ginger Age and Ballot then also on the soft compound tyres. Ballot is back in the car and back in the session. Good stuff indeed. Medium compound tyres for our pole sitter then, Jinner, who's had a bit of an escapade already on the formation lap. We've got Rocket Lee also on the medium compound then in P3, Dynamo Dan then in P7, Slayer in P9, then Mr. Elite in P11, Astra John, Winnie and Dukanko P13, 14 and 15 respectively. So they might be having a bit of a slower start than those on the soft compounds around them. Corey Brennan's opted for the hard compound tyres in P12 then for the Williams driver. And then we've also got, as we've got a Williams driver having an issue then, that is Corey Brennan then on the hard compound tyres. Real Ashton is also on the hards from P19. And we seem to have a lot of people having issues then on the formation lap, which is fantastic. Bodes well for the Grand Prix, doesn't it then? So fantastic stuff indeed. Where is the position changes? No, we want the position changes. There we go. Fantastic. Right then. Now we can get cracking. Yes, get ourselves lined up on the grid then, get ourselves ready for 36 laps of racing action here then for bronze then, as we get ourselves parked up on the grid then. And like I said, not a very good camera angle from here, a bit too far away then for my liking, but there we go, as we get ourselves ready to start racing here then. Jinner then is going to lead us away then as the 5 red lights come on here in Zandvoort. The 5 red lights are out and away we go for the Dutch Grand Prix. Then a good start then from Dan on the soft compound tyres. Jinner trying to cover him off and cut across the track, but Dan still there on the inside, but he doesn't get the move done unfortunately then for the Alpine, I should say. Heading into turn 2 then, but he's still side by side heading into turn 3. Is he almost very close indeed, and Rocket Lee almost into the back of his teammate back there as well. We've got position changes. This Mushroom has dropped down the order, then Mushroom's off the circuit, then he's got himself back underway. And no damage, it doesn't look like then. The Kanko and Ginger Rage are swapping places as well. Then there's all sorts of action as Mushroom's trying to get himself past, but we're looking back at the top of the order here as the Alpines are all over the back then of the McLaren, heading into Skyflock now as well. Wow, good start indeed then. Of course, soft compound tyres then will be the better tyre, you imagine, then at this stage, but we'll have to wait and see then who's gained and who's lost in terms of the tyre situations then when we get ourselves back into the onto that graphic as well then. But we'll have a look at the position changes for the first couple of laps or so then to see who's gaining and who is losing it in the first attempts. And unfortunately for Mushroom then, he has had the escapade then into turn 1, it looked like, or turn 2, and that has cost him 8 places unfortunately then for Mushroom. He's on the soft compound tyres. Can he make those places up? He's got himself back past the Kanko already, and looking to try and storm back through then his Mushroom then as we go through into the final quarter then. And Winnie and Jake the Slayer, my god then, they are, wow, let's just say that's close indeed. Oh my goodness me then. And they're even trying to lock wheels then on the main straight. Fantastic stuff. As Corey and Liam switching places as well. We go diving down the inside then. I think that was Liam then diving down the inside. I think a bit too aggressive and ambitious, I should say then. And Astrodron is trying to sneak through as well. Then Astrodron's back up into P13. But Liam then was a very late move then, I think, trying to go down the inside of both his teammate and Jake the Slayer then, who was of course battling with Winnie as well then. And Winnie up into P10 now, into the top 10 then on the soft or medium compound tyres, I should say then, heading into lap 2 now. It's all settled down a bit now, and of course we get ourselves further into this race then. We'd expect it to settle down a bit more as well then, hopefully, but who knows. Dan then has not been able to get himself past Jinner then. Jinner's on the medium compound tyres, as we can see there then, on the yellow wall tyre then on the McLaren. Then it's red wall tyres then for Dan, who's on the softs then as we head into sector 3. But of course this is where it's going to get a bit dicey indeed. As can we get those soft compound tyres? Can the soft runners then get themselves through past the medium runners quickly enough? Then as Ballant has got himself past Liam then into sector 3, and there's contact. Liam and Ginger Rage have come together then, heading out of the chicane, I should say. There's yellow flag fluttering then, and Liam is down to P19, and Ginger Rage has been involved in that as well. Then Ginger sets the fuzz lap. Dan's gone through, then Rocket League got around the outside into Tarzan corner. Then there's the top 3 have all switched positions. Then Ginner's losing the back end, and Rocket League's gone through. The Alpines lead the way here in Zandvoort then on lap 3 then. Ginger Rage carried on then. Liam has carried on as well then, so I think there's no damage then, but well, there is damage for Liam unfortunately. Then there's some sort of issue then on the end plate there. Hungry Styles and JB are switching places then. Hungry Styles having to P4 as well then. My goodness me then, all action then onto lap 3 it seems here in Zandvoort for bronze then. My god, I'm not quite sure what happened there between Liam and Ginger Rage then, but they've seemed to have come together then somewhere, and that has cost both of them a few places and a few bits of seconds. Let's just say that then. But there we go then, heading into the next phase then of the Grand Prix then. Smithy and San then switching places. Then Smithy up into P6, passing the Ferrari then for P6 as well then. And now can he chase down Jamie and Styles as well as the next target then? The top of the order, I should say, all of them are all very close together then in terms of the DRS window, that is, as Ballant and Corey are switching places as well. Then Ballant trying to go around the outside, then that's not an overtaking place then, and Corey's being caught up in it as well. Then Mushroom trying to get his nose in there as well, heading into the final couple of corners. A fantastic camera angle, I have to say then, as we go through then into the final corner. Then Dan sets the fastest lap of the race then, but he's under pressure now from his teammate Rocket Lee, then heading into Tarzan corner then, but he stays ahead for the time being, that is. Then Dynamo Dan and San are switching places then. San maybe already struggling on the soft compound tyres. Dynamo Dan on the medium compound has got himself through for P7 now. Duck, watch out for a low-flying controller from Ginger Rage, says Warwick through. Liam's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Smithy's got himself past Jamie, then Liam into the pits now. Unfortunately, then it's just not going his way then for Liam. Then at the opening stage of this race, and of course he's sticking at it though, hopefully, and that will see. Hopefully, you see if it's something like a safety car comes out, then he can get himself back in contention as well. Then unfortunately, then that wing damage has been costly, but it's best to get himself into the pits to sort that wing damage out then as quickly as possible, then to get himself back on track and back on the pace, and potentially claw the gap back as well. Right then, out in front, we've got the Alpine pair. Then they've got themselves past Ginner now, and Rocket Lee potentially acting as a bit of a defence then for Dan then, if he can, heading into as Real Ashton and Ginger Rage will switch places as well. Then Ginger Rage up into P17, then passing the Red Bull this time. Liam then has got himself back onto a new set of boots then, and a new front wing. Then he's got himself a 10-second penalty as well then for speeding in the pit lane, but we won't mention that. But so far so good then. Rocket Lee then all over back. Smithy set the fast lap of the race. Then here comes Ginner down the inside into Tarzan corner. He's gone deep then, and Rocket Lee has had to he can't defend that too much because Jinner is already alongside on the inside, I should say. Then he's got himself up into P2, then splitting the Alpine pair now. Can Dan try and rocket away then from this? Rocket is no pun intended there, but can he try and get himself away from Jinner? But Jinner is only 6/10 behind for the time being. Then how long will those soft compound tyres be more competitive than the medium compound tyres? Are already starting to drop off then, are those soft compound tyres? We don't know. We can only guess, but we'll have to wait and see them when the drivers start to make their pit stops, etc. And then the top 10 then all in DRS range of each other as we go through then onto lap 5 of 36. Then still 30 laps to go then at the end of this one. Well, it's been a frantic pace then, as my voice can't even keep up with it, to be fair, but it's been a frantic pace then at the start of this Grand Prix. Then, of course, Zandvoort, a very tricky technical circuit as well. Then, of course, a short lap, though, but a very tricky technical circuit as well, and a very narrow circuit in some places as well, as we go through then into the final couple of corners. Then, Mr. then up into P10, then Winnie then is in P9 trying to chase down Sand. Sand starting to struggle, I think, on the soft compound tyres for the Ferrari, unfortunately. Maybe he out-qualified the car then in that qualifying session. Then, but he's doing a good job then, still sticking at it. And into Tarzan corner, we've got Mushroom passing Astrodrom. Then Mushroom, of course, who was down in P19, I think, wasn't he, on the first lap, then is already up into P12 then from the in the 6th lap then on the soft compound tyres. He is storming back through then is the Mushroom. Then can he chase down Jake the Slayer, who is his next target then as well? So far so good then as we go through then into lap 6 then into the Skyflock corner, and Dan then is now going to be looking in his mirrors. Then of course he's leading the race now, which is good stuff indeed, but he's not been able to break that gap then to the McLaren, to his teammate, to Styles, Smithy, Jamie, Dynamo Dan, then San, Winnie, Mr. Elite, then all in this battle as well. Then unfortunately Jake the Slayer is a 1.7 seconds off the back of the pack, I should say, or off the pack ahead of him, I should say, in the top 10 that is, but trying to chase them down. Mushroom now is caught up as well. Then Mushroom then on the charge then in the Aston Martin. Then he is storming in this race, and fantastic stuff we need to see from Mushroom. He's doing a good job then. Jinner has lost out then to Dan DRS, then I think he's 1.1 seconds behind. Then he's not got DRS. Then heading on to the main straight. That's going to be very enticing indeed then for Dan and for Rocket League potentially to try and make a move then into Tarzan corner. Then can he make that move? Then can Rocket League go late on the brakes? And no, it's too late then, and Rocket League's gone in the back of Jinner. Then Mushroom's at the fast lap of the race, and Mushroom has been flying then after that first lap. Then he's got himself flying back up the order then as well, up to P11 now, 2.7 seconds off the top 10, passing Slayer for that 11th place as well now. Very good stuff indeed then. Jinner has got himself back in that 1 second window then, which is going to be very helpful indeed for the McLaren. Not so much then for the Alpines, but of course the tyre situation might come into play then in the next lap or two, or even on this lap as well then, as we go through then into sector 2. Then I think you can start to see that the soft compound tyres may be struggling a bit. Then Jinner's had a bit of an issue going over the curve then as well. That could open the gap once again then for the Alpine, but I'm not quite sure if he's going to have DRS or not. Then he was maybe in the detection point. Jinner is struggling with that back end then, as he's not got DRS, and Rocket League then is going to try and rocket past him then into sector 3. Not quite then for Rocket League. Stays behind then, heading on to the main straight, but potentially could get him now into the first turn then in this next lap. Then we'll have to wait and see then if Rocket League can stay close through the final couple of corners then as we go through. Then DRS now activated then for Rocket League as we storm through onto lap 8 now as we go through. Then here comes Rocket League, then he is going to be flying past then. And he is going to be flying past, and he's got himself through up into P2, then back up into P2, I should say. Then Smithy and Styles as well. Then switching places, there's contact from Smithy into the back of Jinner. Then Styles has got himself back up into P4. Then Jinner's now trying to cut across Styles as we go into turn 3. Then goodness me, they're side by side. There's contact slightly there as well, heading through the bank corner of turn 4 then. And now they're going to be side by side through here then into sector 2. Then not quite. Then Jinner gets himself ahead then as Styles then backs out. Very wise indeed then as well. Going through here is not a good option then, going side by side as we go up the hill then into lap 8 now as well then. And Jinner losing out then has lost Rocket League, the DRS on Dan as well. Then Dan now can try and skate away then, but Jinner's lost DRS as well. Then we've got more sorts of action as well. We've got Dynamo Dan, Winnie and San all off then into sector 2, and now Serious Mushroom's trying to get himself past his teammate here as well. Then Winnie's got wing damage there for sure. We've got Mushroom then back down to P11, I should say then, but what's gone on there, I'm not quite sure, but it seemed like all three of them were entangled in that one. Dynamo Dan's not got any damage as well. It doesn't look like San then might have some damage. We'll have to wait and see. No damage It's just Winnie's got the issue then, unfortunately, then for the Aston Martin driver. Then not sure what happened there, but it was all pandemonium indeed, wasn't it then? And I think, I'm not quite sure what the order was before the incident there as well then, but there we are, as Dynamo Dan is going to get himself back past then as well then, as we go through onto lap 9 then of 36 then. At the quarterway point of the Grand Prix, then down the inside goes Winnie, then trying to get himself past the Ferrari. Then can he get that move stuck then? Of course, he's on the medium compound tyres. The soft compound starting to struggle here. Then Ginner's down to P5. Then Ginner's struggling on the medium compound tyres for the McLaren driver. Then unfortunately then from pole position then into the race. Then it's not going his way. Then he's trying to cover off Smithy. Then that is very late and very dangerous indeed. Mr. Elite then all over the back of them now as well. Then Dynamo Dan's going to be able to catch up in this rate as we go through into sector 2. Then Jamie's escaped then up into P4. Styles then up into P3. Then Rocket Lee then can't quite get himself within the DRS then of his teammate Dan at the top of the order then. But both the Alpines 1-2 as it stands then, leading the charge here in this Grand Prix. Wow. All action then as well then, it looks like. I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but we head through onto lap 9 then, soon to be lap 10 then as we go into sector 3. Smithy then up into P6 then, as those soft compound tyres starting to drop off. Is that why we're seeing a lot of well, not shenanigans, but a lot of issues then for some drivers then after those soft compound tyres start to fade then in this first stint as well? Then we'll find out then if anyone's going to come in the pit lane, but it would be quite an early stop then I think then. But Rocket Lee trying to get himself into that DRS then of his teammate, heading into Tarzan corner now as well, and he's 1.1 seconds behind. Styles then is 2 seconds behind then of the Alpine pair, that is, but he's currently into the podium place. Then Jamie then for company as well then, heading into lap 10. Now Ginner then on the medium compound tyres will start to phase back into this race unless he's cooked his tyres, that is. Smithy then in P6 as well, then Mr. Elite then in P7, then Dynamo Dan is 2 seconds behind. He has brought that gap down, but he's not been able to get himself back into DRS then of the top 7 now, who've sort of scampered away slightly. San and Winnie and San then are in close contention, along with Mushroom, who's got himself back on P11 then back into the fight then as well for the top 10 positions here. Of course, in bronze they score all the way down to P15, but of course the more positions you gain, the better points you get as well. That makes sense, doesn't it? But same as F1 really. Well, it is F1, but there we go. That's my logic just sorting itself out as we head into lap 10 then into the lead. Then we go then 1.3 seconds the gap. Then Rocket League then has not been able to reel in Dan at this point then, unless those soft compound tyres start to struggle. Then I don't think Rocket League's going to get himself back in DRS, unfortunately here. Styles then 2.6 seconds behind. Then Jamie then is just about to get himself onto the back straight for some onto the main straight for some DRS then onto lap 11, but he might be a bit too far back to be able to make a move then on Styles for that P3 position then, but he's not. Yeah, he stays P4. Ginner then is caught up then. Ginner, Smithy and Mighty then in P6 then. Mr. Elite in P7 then. Dynamo Dan then is 2 seconds back then in P8 then, is on the medium compound tyre, so he might be able to get himself a few places then when the soft compound starts to drop off then in the next lap or so. Jamie is flying, says Legendary. He is. He's up in the P4. I think he started P4. But there we are. He started P4. Yeah, I was right. I managed to get something right in this race as well. Then fantastic. Right then, good stuff. Indeed, Jamie then all over the back of Styles for that final podium place. Then we'll have to wait and see then if it's going to be almost inevitable. Then he's going to get himself past because he's so close to the back of that Haas. Then there's Winnie and Mushroom. Then Winnie's had an issue. Then again, then at the similar place then where they had the other problem. Let's just say as we go through into the next part of the lap. But Winnie then is when he's dropped down to P11. Then Mushroom's gone through. Then San's also gone through as well. Then Winnie is battling now with Astra John then into the chicane of sector 3, and Jake the Slayer is also caught up to this fight as well then, but Winnie then with that damage is really not in the good spot now at this point. Potentially he could pit from around here then to go on the hard compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see what his strategy is going to say about that. Then as here comes Mushroom then for that P9 position, then passing the Ferrari of San then up into P9. Jamie and Ginner battling away then once again then as Ginger Age is in the pit lane, and Ginger Age is calling it a day there on the soft compound tyres. Then into the box he goes, and maybe onto a set of hards potentially here from here on out. We will have to wait and see. Then Ginner and Smithy now battling side by side as we go into the side by side part of the circuit that you're not meant to battle through, because going through there on your own is also difficult, but there we go. Fair enough. Ginner then is holding on to that P5 for the time being then, but we'd expect the soft compound tyres to be dropping off from around here. Ginger Age has gone medium compound tyres then, and coming out of the pit lane now in P18. Then he's got a bit of free air then to try and get himself back into contention then with Real Ashton and DeCanco as well then, but of course now on the fresher tyres, or freshest tyres on the field I should say as well now. out in front. The gap not changing then so far for the Alpine pair, and you would have thought Rocket Lee then would be able to get that gap back down then to Dan and potentially even take the lead then very shortly as well. Then Styles in P3, 3 seconds behind, then Jamie then still breathing down his neck as we head on to lap 13 momentarily. Then Dan stays out, and we go on to lap 13 now, as here comes Jamie then. Jamie on the attack, then he's got Jinner then for company as well, then heading on to the main straight. Then Jinner then looking to make for a move, but he's not close enough then, and stays P5 for now. Then Smithy then in P6, then Dynamo, sorry, Mr. Elite in P4, P7, Dynamo Dan then is in P8, then we've got Corey and Ballot then switching places, then Corey on the hard compound tyres, then of course he started on the hard compound tyres, as did Real Ashton, and looking to go longer in this first stint. Then we'll have to wait and see then if that's going to pay off then later on in this race, in the latter laps. Then of course we don't expect the hard compound tyres to be having any issues really for the next at least the next sort of 10-15 laps though, so they should be all good. As Jamie's had an issue, then Jamie's lost out then to, he's lost out to Jinner, Smithy and Mr. Elite then as Jamie. Not quite sure if there was a helping hand then, or if he just went off the track then in that part of the track. If you get on yourself on the curve there, it can be a bit treacherous, can't it, then that curve. Then unfortunately for Jamie, he's lost 3 places then after that escapade as well, then heading back onto the circuit then, and getting himself back underway, then still within DRS then of the pack ahead. Then Dynamo Dan, there's only 1 second away then. Can he get himself into that DRS window? Yes, he can. He has got himself into that DRS window, and he's dropped Serious Mushroom as well then from his DRS2. And at the same time there, so Dynamo Dan then, his race then was having a bit of an issue then after that escapade then with San and with Winnie in sector 2. Then we're not quite sure what happened. Then Jamie's in the pit lane, and Jamie calling it a day then on the soft compound tyres on lap 14. As we've got Astrodron passing Winnie, then Winnie's still going for it. Oh, he's just driven into the back of the McLaren there. Ballot then has got himself up, Jamie's got himself onto a new set of medium compound tyres. So soft mediums then for the Mercedes driver. Then can they get to the end of the Grand Prix? There might be a bit of a struggling phase then at the end of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see, but he's out in P16 from P7. Then can he get those places back then quickly enough? Then he's now on the fresh tyres and can go. Rocket Lee is going. He's almost in that 1 second window then. That would be very good stuff indeed for Rocket Lee then, if he could get himself in that DRS, because that would help him save some battery and pull himself along then in the tow then of his teammate, but not quite just yet. Jinner then up into P4 then. Can Jinner get himself past Styles? Then now the soft compound tyres I think are definitely much worse for wear than the mediums, so I think this might be inevitable very soon then for the medium runners to start getting their way through, I should say. Then Dynamo Dan's had an issue somewhere, because he's not had an issue, sorry, it was Jamie who pit then, wasn't it, who got himself out of the contention, and that's cost Dynamo Dan DRS on the pack ahead, but he's catching as I should say. Nobody in the top of the order is pitting then at this stage in Styles, and Jinner then switching places then as round the outside goes Styles, then trying to hold on to the place, but Jinner's got himself down the inside and moves himself up into the podium places, or back up into the podium places I should say. Winnie then passing Astrodron in the same place into turn 1, then Winnie then up into P10 for the time being in the Aston Martin. Then let's see what he can do then in the next phase of the Grand Prix. Then Serious Mushroom back up into P8 then. Brilliant stuff indeed from Mushroom after having a very difficult first lap. Then he's got himself back up into the big points then for bronze tonight, and looking good then in the Aston Martin. Right then, good stuff indeed. Rocket Lee still can't get himself within that 1 second window as it stands then, but he can just be can be very calm at the moment, because he's got a 3.8 second gap then to P3 of Jinner, who's had to fight his way back through the field, of course, then after dropping down to P7 I think at one point that was, but now back into the podium places. Then Winnie and San then switching places as Winnie got himself ahead of the Ferrari, then heading into lap 15 sector 2. Then here comes Astra John as well. Then can he go down the inside? Is a bit ambitious if you try and send it down there then, but he has backed off then, thinking about it very wisely indeed. Then Sam then starting to struggle. He was the first, I think, to start to struggle on those soft compound tyres, unfortunately then for the Ferrari. Then can he think about coming into the pit lane soon and calling it a day on those soft compounds? Then Styles is in the pits, then same for Smithy as well, then slowing the car down. Then Mushroom's also in the pits as well, then following them all in. San is also in the pit lane as well, then, so he has called it a day too on the soft compound tyre. Ballot then soldiering on the soft compound as well. The same for Dan as well in the race lead. Then he's got a comfortable gap then. I think he's just managing the gap then to Rocket Lee for the time being, then just keeping it out of that 1 second window. But when those tyres start to drop off, then we might see some action then for Dan in the pit lane. Here comes Ginger Rage then trying to make some action happen as well. Then he's got the medium compound tyres on that racing ball, then racing past Real Ashton into P17. Then ASR has just come out just ahead of the racing ball then, and can get himself potentially in that DRS then when those tyres, because those tyres are warmed up then for the racing ball, and of course ASR's got to do some warming up then of his own. So there we are then, the gap's a bit split then. Styles then out in P13 I should say. Then Jamie has got an undercut then, but he's just over 1 second ahead then of Styles for the time being. Then of course he's got 2 laps older tyres as well then, as he's pitted 2 laps before. Smithy then is all over the back of Styles then as well. Hungry Styles then trying to get himself into contention with Jamie. Then Jamie stuck behind DeCanco then, who's yet to pit. Then we've got pit stop action for the race leader. Then that is Dan, who's called it down the soft compound tyres. We'll see where he drops down to, but he might be out in a bit of clean air then behind the racing bull of Jake the Slayer. Jamie then is all over the back then of DeCanco as we head into the final corner. He's going to have some DRS to play with as we go through to get himself past the Ferrari then, and see where he's going to come out then compared to his rivals then. As round the outside we go then, into the pits comes DeCanco. Balance got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well then, unfortunately then for the Mercedes driver then. Those soft compound tyres very worn out as well. They've got yellow flag for somebody then. It's who is it? I'm not quite sure. It was yellow flags in this turn, wasn't it? But it's seemed to be sorted, quickly enough sorted anyway. But there we are then, interesting stuff indeed then. 4 seconds the gap then. Rocket Lee now leads the way then. The Alpine of Dan has come out behind Corey then. Yes, he has come out behind Corey. 5.8 seconds gap then to Jamie, of course, who pitted 3 laps ago. And Styles has got himself within the DRS then of Jamie as well here. So Dan then has not got too much clear air, because he's now caught up to Corey. Then he's on the hard compound tyres and trying to go long then in this first stint then is Corey Brennan as well then. So we'll have to wait and see then if Corey can hold him up then, or if Dan's going to fly past then, which I think he might do onto the main straight then, because those fresh medium compound tyres are going to be much better than those older hards. As the top of the order, the top 8 have yet to pit then in this Grand Prix. Same for Real Ashton then, and I think Liam might have to pit again as well, unfortunately for the Williams driver then. Into the pits comes Mr. Elite then. Lap 18 is underway. And this will be a bit early for soft compound tyres, I'd imagine, but let's see what Mr. Elite's going to go on to then. Hard compounds going on the Haas then, which is a very good colour match indeed, with the white wall tyre then with the Haas colours, but unfortunately I'm not quite sure if that's going to be the best strategy. We saw in silver last night that those who went medium hards then did start to struggle, or did struggle then with the pace, as he's come out behind his teammate. He's come out behind Smithy Almighty then, but he's joined this fight as well here, has Mr. Elite, and filters back out just in that DRS window as well then, to get those tyres warmed up then. Mushroom then 3 seconds behind then. Real Ashton's also in the pits then. Medium compound tyres going on the Red Bull then as well. Good stuff indeed. And away he goes then. Should be able to get to the end of the Grand Prix from here quite comfortably as well. Jake the Slayer then and Winnie then are in a bit of a fight. Of course, the top of the order then, the top 6 then, and Corey as well then in P8 are yet to pit in this Grand Prix at the halfway point of this race, I should say. As we head into lap 19 then, Rocket Lee then is coming into the pits then. Rocket Lee is calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres then. Slows the car down just in time then. Ginner's going to re-inherit the lead, of course, after leading in the first lap. And heading into Tarzan corner then, back up into P1 then. Dynamo Dan up into P2 then on the medium compound tyres. Very good stuff indeed. Dan sets the fast lap of race then. He's got himself up into P5 with those pitting as well. Then Rocket Lee, his teammate, is coming out in P7. Rocket Lee has lost a lot of time then to Dan. Dan is well, that's going to be quite a gap then for Rocket Lee, and for Rocket Lee to try and get himself back into contention with. It's over 4 seconds then to his teammate, I should say. It was just about 1 second or so before the pit stop phase in. So Dan with 2 laps on the medium compound tyres has found 4 seconds then on Rocket Lee. That's pretty impressive stuff indeed on the fresher tyres. Smithy, Hungry Styles and Jamie then all in this battle as well. Then Mr. Elite on the hard compound then is going to start to struggle, I think, compared to those on the fresher medium compound or fresh medium compound tyres, because they're going to be much quicker at this stage as well. Then Liam and Real Ashton switching races. Then Real Ashton up into P18, then passing Liam then, who fair play for Liam to soldier on after the escapades with Ginger Rage then, who was very naughty and took him out. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but that's just a quick summary then. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Dan then has passed Jake the Slayer now, and his next target is Winnie then in the Aston Martin, heading into the final corner then, and DRS wide open then as we go on to the main straight to start off lap 20 then. And here comes Dan on the charge then, passing Winnie then into Tarzan corner then, up into P3 then. He's got about 8 seconds or 8.5 seconds or so then to the top of the order, then back up into the top of the order, of course, yet with Dynamo Dan and Ginner yet to pit in this Grand Prix. And he might be thinking about a pit stop very soon. So Winnie then down to P4. Winnie soldiering on with the wing damage there as well, to be fair. Jake the Slayer as well then is in close contention along with Astrodron then. But Rocket Lee is 3.6 seconds back. He's on hard compound tyres then. He will be getting himself another 5 positions as it stands then, with the pit stops then for those to come. And will get himself back up into a net P2 at the moment, isn't he? Or, yeah, net P2 for Rocket Lee. 2 seconds back then is Smithy Almighty. He's got himself back past Styles then. Styles in, Smithy in a net P3 now. Passing Styles, who was in a net P3, but is now down to a net P4. Then Jamie net P5, Mr. Elite net P6, then Mushroom and net P7, I think it is, depending on where everybody else comes out in the order, of course. But there we are then, hard compound tyres then for Rocket Lee then, and for Mr. Elite. I'm not quite sure if that is the best strategy then to go for. Then into the pits comes Ginner then, and Dynamo Dan also diving into the pit lane as well then for the Red Bull then. So the top 2 into the pit lane. Dan is going to re-inherit the lead now as we cross into lap 21. Soft compound tyres going on the McLaren and the Red Bull. Winnie carries on then, so does Slayer, so does Astrodron then into the pits then for the soft compound tyres. Gino is coming out of the pit lane now. Where will he be in contention then with a serious Mushroom then? Dynamo Dan then coming out in P12 behind Mushroom. Will he be ahead of San is the question though, as we get ourselves out of the pit lane then for Dynamo Dan. He is ahead of the Ferrari. Just about then Corey has passed Ginger Rage then for the P14 position and has got himself into back into the point playing position, of course. Then Corey then on a charge now in the Williams then on the medium compound tyres. Soft compounds then for Dynamo Dan and for Ginner then. Can they get themselves to the end of the Grand Prix from here then? 16 laps or so to go in this Grand Prix, including this one, of course. But there we are then. Winnie then is leading the way. Sorry, not leading the way. Then Liam's got a 10-second break again then for speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunately for Liam, it's going from bad to worse then for the Williams driver. I mean, fair play for Liam then just to stick it out then. But maybe a bit of practice then, getting your eye in is probably even better than in terms of just getting your focus then for future Grand Prix, that is. But Liam then not having a good time out there, unfortunately then for the Williams driver tonight. But there we go then. Into the pits comes Winnie, I think, yes, and Slayer as well then. My goodness me, Slayer just, he got ahead then of Winnie in the pit lane. Astrodron has also followed them in then, but Slayer then, wow, that was close indeed. Liam's got a 10-second break crossing the pit lane exit line somehow as well then. Slayer then, I think, will be ahead of Winnie. Well, Winnie was what wing damage, and so he's not changed it, I don't think, in the pit stops though. He's just gone for the soft compound tyres again then, has Winnie then. So yeah, that end plate still missing then for the Aston Martin, similar to a Leclerc situation then as well then, when he had that damage in the race as well. Unfortunately, it didn't matter in the end, did it, because he got disqualified. But yeah, there we go. So that's that. Right then, at the top of the order, and 6 seconds the gap then between the two Alpines once again then. Smithy Almighty on the charge, and is only 1.5 seconds away from Rocket Lee. Then Smithy could be on for a podium here. Well, he's in the podium places already, actually, I should say, but he could be on for a P2 here. And Hungry Styles then trying to hold on to him as well. Then Jamie's coming with him, so is Mr. Elite then, and Ginner is now caught up as well here on the soft compound tyres. Then Dynamo Dan then trying to catch up to Mushroom as well here to get himself into the fight at the same point. Lap 22 then, or 36 then, soon to be lap 23, and Dan has got a massive gap then out in front. He starts lap 23 then, and you can only see he can see his teammate then of Rocket Lee then starting off a lap as well here, as not quite sure what that Williams is doing. That unfortunately that is I think that's Liam then, who's having his having issues out there. Jenner sets the fastest lap of the race then, and passes Mr. Elite into Tarzan corner up into P6 now. He's on the charge on those soft compounds, passing Mr. Elite I think on the hard compound tyre, just not the right call then in this race, unfortunately then for the Haas driver then, but he's doing a good job then, still in the points then for some solid points here for Haas as we head through then into lap 23 then. And Ginner then all over the back of Jamie now is his next target, heading into Skyfog, and he's going to try and send it down the inside, which is dangerous stuff indeed, but he's not he's thought about it and thought no, which is good stuff. Well, indeed, very clever to not risk it in that sort of corner then, as we go through then into the next DRS zone. And Ginner might be thinking about making a move then very shortly as well. Then Jamie then is holding on to the DRS then of Styles. And Smithy Almighty's got himself within DRS then of Rocket Lee as well here. So Rocket Lee unfortunately has been reeled back into this battle as well. Then Dynamo Dan has passed Mushroom then for P8 now. 2 seconds the gap then to the pack ahead then for Mushroom and for Dynamo Dan as well here. Can they get themselves back in contention as well? Then Jamie has lost out to DRS then of Hungry Styles, and here comes Ginner then on the attack. Then Ginner's going to get himself past then on the soft compound tyres. Then he goes through then for P5 then, and he's storming through on the soft compound tyres then into P5. Now a 1 second gap then to Styles then in P4 then is his next target. Dynamo Dan then on the soft compound tyres is, well, of course, the DRS is not helping then as well. Then Liam has retired in the pit lane. Unfortunately, Liam then it's just it wasn't going his way then tonight. Then Jake the Slayer's got himself past his teammate. Then there's a bit of a pack forming behind, behind all of this. As we've got Astro John and Winnie then as well then in the fight. Then they're side by side, and wow, wow, and wow, and he's dived down the inside. Winnie's going to go for both of them then with the with the cutback or switchback. And my goodness me, then Astro John has gone for himself through on P13, then Winnie P14. That yellow flag is for Liam's car then that is coming out back out on track then. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way of Real Ashton. And it gets himself off the track then. Ginger Rage's got a 3-second penalty then for track limits, unfortunately, in Sector 2 then. He's still holding on to that final points paying position then at this point. Real Ashton is, sorry, not Real Ashton, Ginger Rage that is. We go through then into lap 25 momentarily. There we go. And we've got Astro John passing Jake the Slayer as well, and those two on the soft compound tyres. Smithy Almighty now on the charge for P2. Then here he comes past Rocket Lee then into Tarzan corner. Then we've got 3 of them going for it. Then the Styles and Ginger then going past Rocket Lee as well. Then unfortunately Rocket Lee defensive with no DRS there. Styles holds on, then he's up into the podium places now, but Ginner's trying to go down the inside at turn 3. Then there's contact there, and my god, then as we go into turn 4 now through the banked turn then, and Ginner is pushing that house almost through the corners then as well. Smithy Almighty is checked out in the distance now with all that issue going on there. And Rocket Lee down to P5, then Mr. Elite then in P6, then Jamie down to P7. Unfortunately for Jamie, then he's starting to struggle then on these medium compound tyres. And of course he's on the older tyres as well then compared to the rest of the field. With the rest of the guys he's battling with. Well, Dynamo Dan's caught up to P8 now. Dropped Serious Mushroom then into down to P9 then. And Dynamo Dan then on the challenge on the soft compound tyres here on lap 25 of 36. Fantastic stuff indeed. Then Styles has lost out then to the DRS. Then Dynamo Dan has got himself past Jamie. Then Jamie is not having a good time out there. I'm not quite sure what's going on then for Jamie then, or if he's just having a few technical difficulties then. But Dynamo Dan up to P7 now and on the charge here. And can he get himself past Mr. Elite into the final couple of corners then? Not quite, then he stays behind. Then he's got some DRS down the main straight though as we head through the final corner. Then here comes Dynamo Dan then on the charge, and he's all over that rear wing of the Haas then. Mr. Elite's got DRS then, but it's not powerful enough, and the soft compound tyres working wonders then for Dynamo Dan, I should say, then into Tarzan corner. He's got the inside, he's got P6. Styles has lost out to Ginner then. Ginner trying to get himself back in contention with Smithy Almighty. Could get himself back into P2 here. Winnie and Jake the Slayer switching places as well. Then these 3 are in a bit of a fight. Then Astro John almost into the back of Jake the Slayer, I should say, there into P13. My goodness me. Right then, we've got Ginner then, he's got himself back in contention then with Smithy Almighty, then Ginner on the soft compound tyres. And the only question we've got with the soft compound is how long they're going to last and hold on for. Of course, the cars are getting lighter and lighter as we go through the Grand Prix with the fuel load burning off then as well. So they will be better performing than they would do potentially at the start of the Grand Prix then. Styles then is under pressure then as Dynamo Dan has got himself past Rocket Lee as well. Then Rocket Lee then is down to P6 then. Who's that side by side then? It's Mr. Elite looking for a move then on Rocket as well then. But Dynamo Dan up to P5 now. Styles then is not within the DRS then of Ginner. Then Ginner has got himself away and scampered away then, looking to try and fight for that P2 position with Smithy Almighty. Then I think it might be a question of well, now rather than if. But he's got himself through. We've got a problem for Astro John then. He's gone straight on then at the chicane then, looks like. No, he's got himself back underway then, but unfortunately then he was in a bit of a fight then with Winnie and Jake the Slayer, wasn't he then? And seems to have come a cropper then into Sector 3. But doesn't seem to have any damage though, which is good stuff. I'm not quite sure what happened then for Astrodron then. That has given Ginger Age a place. So there we go then. But Astrodron's back underway. Ballant then is trying to close him down as well then to Kanko and Real Ashton then trying to catch up as well here. Smithy then is just trying to hold on now to the DRS, I think, then of Ginner then. But Ginner is on scampering away then. He's got 7 seconds though to try and catch Dan then for the lead of the Grand Prix. Which might be a bit of a tall order then, we'll have to find out. But Dynamo Dan then's on a charge as well, then he's up into P5 then. He's now all over the back of Styles then. Styles no DRS to protect himself as well then from to Smithy Almighty. So Dynamo Dan might be looking for a move here very quickly indeed then as we go into Sector 3 then. No, not quite then. Like I said, that DRS straight is not very long enough to be able to make an overtake. Then it just gets you very close to the back end into Sector 3 then, which again does open the door potentially then for an overtake along this straight then, heading on to lap 28 as we go through then into the last few knockings then of this Grand Prix then. Dynamo Dan is going to breeze through into P4 then on the soft compound tyres then. Now can he try and track down Smithy Almighty then for a podium place here then in the Rebel. Then we'll have to wait and see. Then he's got himself up into P4. Then a very good recovery as well in this Grand Prix. Then Styles down to P5 for the time being. Styles then into the back of Dynamo Dan. And there we go. Rocket Lee then P6, then Mr. Elite P7, Jamie down to P8. Unfortunately, Jamie then just not having a good time on those medium compound tyres. Is starting to struggle then on those mediums, but he's doing a good job then nonetheless on his full-time, well not full-time, sorry, on his first race debut. ASR also in the top 10 as well on his second race, a full-time race debut as well then, so good stuff indeed. Corey then unfortunately struggling then on the medium compound tyres. Winnie and Jake the Slayer then catching up to him. Ginger Age then in P14. Astro John is caught up then to the Racing Bull then for that P14-15 battle as well. Then the final points paying position is P15 for bronze this season. So we'll have to wait and see then if that's going to how that's going to unfold. Then Gino has got himself scampered away then from Smithy. Dynamo Dan is not within the DRS then of Smithy at the moment then, but is very close indeed. He's getting himself very close indeed as well then through the final couple of corners. And there we go then. He has got himself in that 1 second window. So Dynamo Dan now could fight then onto lap 29 then. Here comes Rocket League diving down the inside of Styles then into turn 1. Then Styles fights back, then Styles holds on to P5 for the time being. Wow, that's close. Yes, so Styles then stays in P5 now for the moment then, that is. Hard compound tyres I don't think were the way to go, unfortunately. Then they're just compared to the mediums and those on the softs, they're just struggling. And Astrodron has got himself up into P14 then, and get himself back underway then. Unfortunately for Astrodron, I'm not quite sure what happened there into Sector 3, but he has got himself back into the points paying positions then quite quickly, and back in contention as well then for the McLaren driver. Good stuff indeed then. Here comes Dynamo Dan then looking to try and grab that final podium place then, currently P3 in the driver's standings then, looking to get P3 on track tonight here as well. As we head into the last few knockings then, the last few laps then of this Grand Prix here in the Netherlands, and it's been a fantastic race indeed from bronze tonight then, but unfortunately we can only have one winner then, and there is the leader as it stands onto lap 30, that is, heading onto the first corner now as well then is the Alpine then of Dan. 6 seconds the gap. It was 7.2 or so when Gino got himself over to P2, then Dynamo Dan's past Smithy for P3, Rocket Lee's past Styles for P5 then, so there's a few chopping and changings going on in the rest of the order onto lap 30 as well here. But can they stay that way, or will it stay that way as well? Then ASR's got himself back over to P9 now after getting past Mushroom into turn 1. So Mushroom's done a good job actually as well of recovering in this race, to be fair, because of course he was struggling on that one after whatever happened then into the first couple of turns. But there we are. Winnie then is also caught up to Corey Brennan. Then Winnie's still racing with that damage. Then that right end plate missing for the Aston Martin doesn't need to be hampering him too much. But of course, he is still trying to pick up some points here as well. Then Slayer then in P13, also in this queue as well. Then in this fight as well. Then for P11 as it stands as well. Then good stuff indeed. Right then, here comes Smithy. Then Smithy actually has been passed by Dynamo Dan. Then on the main straight on the previous lap. Then onto this lap, I should say. He's stayed within DRS range just about, but he's now lost out, I think, just about as well, then heading into... No, he hasn't. He's got himself back in. Good stuff. Rocket Lee, unfortunately, has dropped out. Then here comes Styles. Styles might fancy a move then back for that P5, heading on to the main straight then for lap 31. Then 5 laps remaining at the end of this one. And here comes the Haas. Can he get close enough? He's gone right into the back of him again, then as Styles. And so I'm not quite sure Styles is aware that there's... Oh, God, there's contact there as well. Then Styles and Rocket Lee have come together. Then Mr. Elite's gone through for P6. But Styles then, unfortunately, then I think a bit, a bit unaware or a bit over-aggressive, let's just say that then, heading into the first turn then, and that has now cost Rocket League then a place to Mr. Elite as well here then. Styles then P5 now for him, but he's now under pressure from his teammate then on the hard compound tyres. Yeah, unfortunately, then, all sorts of shenanigans going on there as well, and heading into the out of the first turn, I should say. But there we are then. 2 seconds the gap then for Dynamo Dan to try and catch up to Gino. Then he's got a 1.2 second gap to Smithy Almighty then, who's now out of the DRS window. Then Styles, Mr. Elite and Rocket Lee were all in that battle as well then, but Smithy has now got a bit of a gap now after all of the shenanigans there for the Haas and the Alpine of Rocket Lee as well then. But Rocket Lee still in P7 then, still on for some big points here. I think I can't remember what the point system is now, because it goes down to 15 now. It's messed with my head. It's not 6 points for 7th anymore. It's a bit more, I can't remember what it is. So there we go. That's fantastic, isn't it? Mr. Elite then trying to go down the inside of Styles. Will Styles leave him some room this time? Yes, he will. And there we go then. So Mr. Elite unfortunately couldn't get himself past then into Tarzan corner. Then has to wait again for another opportunity. Then Dynamite Dan, not Dynamite Dan, sorry, yellow flags. It's a Ferrari then. I think it's Balin. No, it's not Balin. Sorry, it's not Balin. Balin's not in the Ferrari. It's Dukanko who's had an issue somewhere. Real Ashton has gone through for P17. But unfortunately, I think it's a bit too far back to get himself into the points paying positions, unfortunately, at this stage, unless there's some sort of issues in the final couple of laps. Yeah, we hope not, because that would be very problematic indeed. But so far so good then. Lap 32 then of 36 is underway. Driver of the day is out in the comment section. Dan is your race leader. Then he is currently driver of the day candidate number 1. Smithy is P2 in the driver of the day vote. That is Styles and Dynamo Dan are your other drivers for nominations there. As we go through the position changes, then Dan's getting a place then from P2. Dynamo Dan and Smithy have both gained 4 places. Then Mr. Elite's gained 5 places as well. Then fantastic stuff indeed. So there we are then, heading into lap 33 then. 4 laps including this one to go then in this Grand Prix. 4.6 seconds the gap then for Jinnah then. Unfortunately, I don't think it's closing in. He needs to gain 4. Again, it's over a second a lap then. Mr. Elite got himself past his teammate for P5 now. And up into the higher echelons then, of course. Can he try and track down Smithy then? He's got 6 tenths or 5 tenths there in to try and gain then on the kick Sauber then. If he can get himself into the DRS of the kick Sauber, then potentially he can get himself P4 here on the cards. We'll have to wait and see then. Rocket Lee then also waiting in contention as well. Then Jamie, unfortunately, then after a fantastic first stint then, where he was battling for the podium places even, unfortunately just struggling on the medium compound here, which is a big shame indeed, because he's done a fantastic job on his debut. Then it's been very good stuff to watch then from JB. Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. San then is closing in though. San is closing in actually, and San could try and get himself into P8 here if he can get himself within the DRS range then of the Mercedes. Sirius Rushman then is holding station in P10 that is at the moment. Corey and Winnie then are going to resume their battle as well. Then Corey's been passed by Winnie, but of course there might be some more chopping and changing then going on in the next 3 laps or so. Then as Dan has started off lap 34 then of 36, then 3 to go then here in Zandvoort tonight. And wow, so far so good then. Brilliant stuff indeed. And wow, there we are. So driver of the day vote, there's 4 votes already in, and all of them, all drivers, all the 4 nominees are on 25%, so everyone's got 1 vote each. So get some votes in, then we need to change that so we can get a clear winner. So there we are then. Good stuff from those. Get your votes in the comments section as well then. We'll have a quick look at the fuel situations, because we might have a few people out there. There's no safety cars, or there hasn't been any safety cars. There will not be any safety cars in this race. Top 2 on or okay. Same for Dynamo Dan then. Same for Smithy, Mr. Elite then, and Hungry Styles. And Rocket Lee is all right then. Jamie, I think that it's Rocket Lee's fuel light just came on then as well then. So Rocket Lee might be the reason Rocket Lee might be having a few issues then, and not fighting for the positions ahead then, is he's just trying to conserve some fuel then to get himself to the end of the Grand Prix here. Slayer has got himself past Corey. Then Corey's had an issue somewhere. He's off the track. Then that's why then Slayer's gone past for P12, and now in the fight with Winnie. Rocket Lee's got an issue with the fuel potentially. Then Jamie then in P8. Then San as well is all right on fuel. Then same for Mushroom. Same for Winnie. Same for Slayer, same for Corey as well. Then Astro John, then Ginger Rage, Balin, Dukanko, and Real Ashton's had a bit of an issue as well. Then Dukanko. So Real Ashton and Rocket Lee then might have a bit of a fuel issue towards the end of this Grand Prix. At the moment, I think they're all right then, as Rocket Lee's light is very close indeed, isn't it? So he might be just on the brink then as well then for Rocket Lee. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But I thought we'd just put that on just to see what was going on then in the final few laps there as well then. So far so good then. I thought there was going to be a lot more people caught out by the fuel issue around here, but no, they've done a good job then of getting well ahead of what I would be doing, and running out of fuel in about lap 32. Dan then leads the way then 3.7 seconds. The gap has come down from 7.2, but it's been over a few laps now since Jinnah got himself past Smithy into P2. Dynamo Dan's got himself past Smithy as well, then up into the podium places now for the Red Bull as well. Then good stuff indeed. Smithy then holding on to P4 then, but now Mr. Elite has got himself in contention, and he's bringing Styles, he's bringing Rocket Lee with him as well then, is Mr. Elite, and could be a bit of pressure then coming on the kick Sauber then, heading on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Then can Mr. Elite charge now? He needs to go now then, does Mr. Elite. Then Smithy is burning all of his airs, then Mr. Elite's got more airs to play with. Then here comes the Haas then. It's going to be a late move then into turn 1 then. Is it down the inside? Goes Mr. Elite, then he's got the inside then. Can he slow the car down? Yes he can. He's got P4 just about there. And ASR's got himself past Jamie as well then for that P8 position. Good stuff indeed from ASR then. And wow, Smithy then losing out then to P5, down to P5 I should say. Then Mr. getting himself through. Then still a chance for Smithy to get himself back past. But they're all harvesting energy then going through into Sector 2. Then Dan leads the way then. He's done a fantastic job this race then, has Dan. Then he got himself into the race lead, starting on the soft compound tyres. Then did the Alpine driver. Switched to the medium compound now, has got himself into pole position. Then he's been quite comfortable in the second stint. Of course, you can see that gap closing then to Gino then, but of course he had enough of a gap then to make sure that he held on to it then into the second stint as well. Then around the final couple of corners then on the final lap then for the Alpine driver then. Dan is going to win the Dutch Grand Prix then here for bronze season 9 round 11 then. Here comes the Alpine driver of Dan up to the line then. He wins here in Zandvoort then for a fantastic result then for himself and the Alpine team in the championship, that is, as well then. Brilliant stuff then from Dan then. A fantastic win then for the Alpine driver as well. Gina then claims P2, a good result then from Gina as well. Then back-to-back good results as well after a fantastic podium in the Belgian Grand Prix last week. Then Gina then claims P2 here in Zandvoort tonight as well. Then a very good drive then from the Papaya McLaren here as well. Then Dynamo Dan rounds off the podium places. Then P3 then for Dynamo Dan. Then another good result then for the Championship Challenger as well in the Red Bull. Then he's got himself P3 cemented as well. Then then it's Gina then who's in contention then for that final P3 position in the driver standings as well. Then of course gaining a few points then on Dynamo Dan in this session as well. Then Ballant has served a 10-second podium then crossing the line as well here. Mr. Elite P4 then Style got himself past Smithy then only by 47,000 of a second then, but he got himself past anyway and got himself P5 then. Smithy P6 then Rocket Lee P7. San on his second attempt then of course had a difficult race in Belgium on his full-time debut then, but got himself some good points here tonight then in the Ferrari in Zandvoort. Then Jamie then on his debut as well then in ALR then has done a fantastic job then, a good race indeed from Jamie. Unfortunately just struggled on the medium compound tyres. Then Serious Mushroom P10 then a good result from Mushroom after recovering after the down to P19 on the last lap as well. Then Winnie then in P11 as well then of that the whole race pretty much with wing damage as well, to be fair. And there we are then as Decanco has left the session then, but I think he has crossed the line. Slayer then P12 then Corey in P13. Astra John I think was P15 in the end there. Wow, brilliant stuff indeed. And good stuff indeed. That P12, I'll take it, says Slayer as well. Then, of course, like I said, there's a few shenanigans going on there, but over the course of the race then. But fair play to everyone who got themselves to the checkered flag. There we go then, as into the podium celebrations we go. Then we've got Dan, of course, on the top step in the Alpine, the McLaren Gina then in P2, and Dynamo Dan in the Red Bull in P3. And there's a classification then for the Dutch Grand Prix. We've got Gino in P2 with the fastest lap then, of course, an extra point for the McLaren team, which will, of course, carry on as well for next season, if we do another season, that is. But we get the next extra point then, of course, which does carry on because I think the fastest lap is actually quite useful then. But that is the classification then for the Dutch Grand Prix. Well done indeed to everybody who got themselves to the checkered flag tonight then. And good stuff indeed. We'll start off the interviews then, shall we, with our race winner then. It's Dan. There's too many Dans in here. But Dan then race win then, another race win I should say, under your belt then for the Alpine machine then. And how was that race for yourself in a nutshell?
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, most welcome, as they all are. I was just trying to keep the tyres alive towards the end. It was basically just whose tyres could last the longest, and I could see Jenna just slowly catching me, but thankfully the laps ran out, and yeah, it was P1. Thank you.
And you had a battle. You started on the soft compound tyres, of course, and had a bit of a battle then in the first stint. Then, but in the second stint, were you surprised about the gap you had when you came out of the pit lane, or when all the stops were unfolding, I should say, really?
Yeah, so I was a bit surprised to see Rocket go into the hards. I thought he was going to carry on along the same strategy as Jinner. But I was pretty confident in the strategy. The first stint was just about either staying in the DRS train or being at the front of it and just getting the undercut on people. And then the second stint, as you saw, was just about maintaining the gap that I would have built from that undercut. And the rest behind, box later, stuck in traffic, got to get through cars and whatnot. So yeah, just waiting out the laps.
And it worked out in your favour for another win then. Do you reckon, of course, Luke not racing tonight, then the win gets you, I think, 2 points behind him in the championship order. Do you think you're going to be hoping or calling his workplace to try and get him a shift or so on Tuesdays in the future?
Yeah, if he could stay on nights, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, look, Luke's a fast driver, and he's first in the championship, and he deserves to be there. So the battle's very much on. Tonight was a bit fortuitous towards me, the fact that he couldn't race, but ultimately it's out of my hands, and I just had to win and try my best to win whenever I race.
And yeah, like I said, another race win on the checklist then for yourself. Looking good indeed then for Dan, sorry, in the Alpine. Well done indeed tonight then for the race victory here in Zandvoort. We've got Ginner, I think, then Ginner, then P2 tonight, then Ginner and the McLaren. You've had a turn of form then in the last couple of races, including this one as well then. And like I said, there was a few instances in the first stint there where you lost a few places on the medium compound tyres. Were you struggling on the tyres, or was it just setup issues?
To be fair, I wasn't struggling on the tyres. There were a couple of little incidents where there were wheel banging and wheels got caught, so I had to be careful because I didn't want to spin. So that lost me the time and just battling. So wanted to try stay in front and just outpace, but couldn't do it, to be honest. So yeah, just had to try and hope for the late safety car. That didn't happen. But yeah, tried clawing it back at end, but no, it was just too far in front.
But you did a fantastic job. I think it was P7, I believe it was on the when you started to when you caught up to the pack. Then and you had to get yourself all the way up into P2. Then with some fantastic battles there as well on the soft compound tires. What was your thoughts then? Like I said, you sort of alluded to it there, but did you think that the race when had gone when you came out of the pit lane so far back?
Yeah, to be honest, I definitely did. I was just trying getting up as close as possible, just getting passes. And my setup, I did go for a low downforce setup, real wing like fate. So I know if I got into DRS on back straight, I more than likely got them into the first corner. And then there's hardly any overtaking opportunities except for that back straight. So yeah, just went for it like that.
Brilliant stuff indeed, and I think I'm just trying to find the championship standings very quickly whilst you're here. You're going to be you gained 3 points on Dynamo Dan for the final podium placing in the driver standings, but so you're going to be 3 points behind Dynamo Dan as well as we go into Monza next week. Then are you trying to chase him down? Then do you reckon you can get yourself into the top 3 in the drivers' championship?
Hopefully, it's my setups in beginning of season weren't there, and now I've just gone for race pace. So yeah, hopefully I can contend for at least top third, if not second.
Brilliant stuff indeed. Then we'll see some more of it then in the podium interviews in the future. There, good stuff from Ginner then tonight.
Hopefully.
Good result then for the McLaren then for Ginner then P2 tonight then. Dynamo Dan in P3. Are you
Hello.
there, sir? He doesn't seem to be here. I'm
here.
Oh, he's here. Good stuff. Well, a fantastic race as well then from yourself then. Like I was saying at the beginning, then you were on the medium compound tyres, and it sort of seemed that those on the softs were getting themselves through. You got yourself back up into a podium position, I should say. Then how did that race go in as a summary then from yourself?
Yeah, it was an interesting start. I found it really hard on the mediums, but I feel like as soon as I came in and put the softs on, the pace was just massive. And I think that's where I got most of my places back from losing them in the first stint. I just felt on the softs you could just floor it constantly.
And of course, on the softs, you did floor it constantly. Got yourself into the podium places brilliantly. But like Ginner, then on the soft compound tyres, what did you expect when you came out of the pits? You had quite a few cars to pass.
I guess the only struggle I had was catching up with them when they had DRS. But I think because there were a couple of people battling, I think it slowed them down and it let me catch them up. And as soon as I caught up with them, I had the pace to overtake them and then get away from them before the next DRS zone.
Well, it's a very good result indeed then from yourself, and again cements your position, I should say, in P3 in the drivers for the time being. That is, with Jinnah still breathing down your neck. So, what are you looking for then in the next the last 5 races of the season? We've already been speeding through this season. What are you looking for then in that final few races?
Just more points. As long as I finish in the top 5, I'll be happy. I don't think I've got the pace to keep up with Dan and Jinnah and even Luke. But as long as I'm up there, I'll be happy.
Fair enough then. Good stuff indeed. And a good result then for Dynamo Dan then to round off the podium here in Zandvoort then. We'll be back in action, and like I alluded to already, Monza then is the next track on the calendar for gold, silver and bronze. So we'll be back in action on ALR then from Sunday night for gold, Monday night for silver, and Tuesday night for bronze for some more ALR action. And so stay tuned and we'll see you very soon.